You know, some people out there, when they talk, they fake the funk. You want brutally honest? Well, if you are brutally honest, look no further than CG Ruthless Sports.
CG Ruthless.
CG Ruthless Sports.
CG Ruthless.
If you want your sports talk to be brutally honest, come check out CG.
CG Ruthless.
If you're not watching CG Ruthless, I don't know what to tell you. Representing the Niner Empire.
CG Ruthless.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2000 first round pick out of the University of Michigan State, outside linebacker, Julian Peterson, man. What's good, bro?
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
And no problem, bro. So where can they find you at social media, man? That's what I usually ask all my visitors.
I'm not on social media. All I'm on is LinkedIn. I don't have any social media. I stay away from it.
Okay, so let's get on to that question, man. So what made you, when you first came out of high school, what were there any other colleges that came to mind that were recruiting you, or you just felt like Michigan State was just the perfect team for you?
Oh, shoot. Out of high school, for me, I only wanted to go to schools who, at that time, I was a two-sport athlete guy. So I was ranked in football and basketball. So at that time, if you didn't allow me to play both sports once the season ended, I didn't want anything to do with you. So that's how I based a lot of my decisions on at least what school I was going to pick for college. And Michigan State was one of those schools that let me play both ways, as far as basketball and football. And what was Syracuse at the time, Donovan McNabb played North Carolina at the time. They were I was looking at them, and Miami at the time would let me do the two-sport thing.
So you were just looking to do two sports, and only Michigan State was like the only one that kind of let you do both ways, right?
Yeah, when it came boiled down to it, yeah. Plus I had it took me a second to get there, but eventually it felt right for me to go to Michigan State, and I just pulled the trigger, and that's where I needed to be.
Okay, so coming into the draft, coming out of Michigan State, what were they ranking you as, like a top draft pick before? Were you considered like a sleeper at one point? Because I mean, I don't know, like there was like a time where they kind of threw you under the radar quickly.
Yeah. So when I first got to Michigan State, actually I was a JUCO transfer. I went to a JUCO college first, Valley Forge. So I had just 2 years at Michigan State. After my first year, my junior year, I had like a little bit of buzz. I made a couple of good big time games and big time environments. And so they were saying at that time, if I left, I was going to be a free agent, maybe 7th round. So when my senior year came up for my last year at Michigan State, I was a free agent the 7th round. And then by the end of when it got to the Senior Bowl and we played in the Citrus Bowl, I was like the top, one of the top guys in the draft, which was amazing because but nobody ever considered that part of me at one point. So I could say that hard work pay off, even if you don't have anybody, saying you the greatest, so.
Yeah, because I remember like a while back they were considering you as a 7 in
I can't hear you.
like
I'm sorry.
free agent at one point, but then you did good in that Senior Bowl, and then somehow your draft stock kind of just moved up. But at one point when you were entering to the draft, were there any teams besides the 49ers? Oh wait, couldn't hear. You can hear or no? Let me be right back. I'll come right back. Hold on. All right, you hear better?
Okay, there we go. Yep, I hear you now.
All right. Okay, so entering to the draft, were there any other teams besides the 49ers who wanted to draft you, or
Yes. So the teams that were looking to get me at that time, so I was, they would say I can go anywhere from 8 on down, anywhere from the 8th pick to whoever down. Pittsburgh was looking at me, but they picked up my other teammate, Plexico Barris, at the time. They ended up drafting him. Chicago was looking at a linebacker. They ended up picking Urlacher. The Jets were looking to draft me. They ended up getting John Abraham. And after that, as the pick started going down, I remember at the time, Charles Woodson called me because we had the same agent. And he was like, man, you look like you're about to slide down to 17 and we about to draft you. So obviously the 16th pick was the 49ers. Steve Young was just about to retire from his concussion and all that. Jeff Garcia just got there for the most part. And, they were thinking about I would say most people were thinking they was going to get a quarterback first round. So I was thinking I was going to be a Raider. And then all of a sudden I get a call from Mariucci saying, congratulations, you're a 49er. And from there, things was history. And the crazy part about the whole story is, like I said, I played both football and basketball. So Izzo called Tom Izzo at the time. They were roommates, him and Steve Mariucci in college. So he called Steve Mariucci and said, I don't know about who y'all going to draft, but if y'all draft Julian, that's going to be one of y'all greatest picks. And I guess he took heed, him and Bill Walsh.
I guess he took the word of your coach. So I guess that's what it was. So like in some ways, like it's like you were just considered in that borderline undrafted spot, and then you move up from the senior ball, and then you were getting talks between being in the top 10 or something like that.
Correct.
And then the fact that you were thinking that, ooh, Charles Woodson's calling me and saying I'm going to be a Raider, and then you were thinking, oh, the Niners are just going to get a quarterback. Like, let's see. Then I guess you were surprised. Sometimes it's unexpected where they pick you at, but I guess the connection with Mariucci and your head coach kind of got you to where you're at.
Where I'm at. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So give me the impressions when you first came into the 49ers.
The legacy of the 49ers. I mean, it's pretty much like on the legacy of the Lakers and, let's say, recently football history of Patriots. The longevity of their success, how they were ran. Like I said, I was fortunate enough to be there with Bill Walsh and the John McVay and the Joe Montanas and all that would still come by. I was there with some of the original guys, and you can just kind of feel the aura of and what they are all about. It just like sprinkled down to the organization, regardless of, I had times where I was on probably the worst parts of the 49ers organization teams. But the way it was ran, the way we handled it, it was great. I felt wonderful. We gave it our all. Sometimes unfortunate things happen, injuries, and, staff sometimes don't be right. But, the far as how they ran the organization and being a family type organization, I couldn't have been in no better place to start off was the 49ers.
Okay, so what was your first reaction when you played at Candlestick Park? What was that vibe like?
Oh wow, it was amazing. And it's for the fact that it was the original stadium, and you could still see the baseball. It was still fielded off of the, how the baseball stadiums are set up. It was great. But I would say a funnier thing was my parents came to the game like they normally do. So my mom and dad never been to California. And, we're thinking California being from the East Coast and everything, like it's when it's 70 or 80, whatever, during the daytime, it's going to drop maybe 5 degrees or, 8 or whatever. So she saw all these people with blankets and coats, and it's like 80 degrees out there. And my parents and stuff got, shorts and all that on. And she was like, what do they have all this on? So about at halftime, once the sun go down in California, it gets a little bit brisk out there, especially on the water on Candlestick. And then after a while, my parents said, like, okay, now I get it. It's totally different. They went to go buy them a blanket and everything. So, but yeah, my first experience, it was wonderful. Just the whole, the cash was there. So many wonderful games were played at Candlestick. It was great. And for me being part of that tradition, I just wanted to make sure that I showed my worth. And since I was their first round pick, I wanted to make sure that I at least showed up that I was a first round pick and not a bust. So I wanted to do my part to show that it was a well deserved pick.
Yeah, I guess sometimes when they pick somebody like you just want to like let them know, say, hey, you picked the right guy. I'm gonna make the most out of it. But okay, out of all teammates, what was it like playing for Brian Young? I've heard a lot of interesting stories about this guy as a teammate.
BY. Oh man. Uh the movie The Green Mile. It's the best way you can describe. He's like that big, that big guy that was in The Green Mile. That's the best way you can describe it. Everybody loves him. He wasn't very say an outgoing spoken guy like that, but I swear when he decided to speak, you listen, he held command, and you respect everything that he said because you knew all the things that he went through. Like, at least I didn't know I knew his career. I knew he was, rookie of the year, won a Super Bowl. Then the next year or so, you still supposed to think, I'm on this high level, and you could totally break your shin and it come through your leg. Now you got titanium leg, part in your body now, and you still out there handling it like nothing happened. You can't say anything greater than somebody with that stature. So I loved it, enjoyed playing with him.
Yeah, and then you had a lot of other guys, but even at the time, you guys were like pretty stacked at one point. Like in 2002, you guys had a chance to like at least have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl that one year. You guys had like all the talent, but when you looked at all the games, like I know you guys were playing against the New York Giants, and you guys were deficit behind. And did you really thought in your own mind like, hey, we still have a chance, we can still come in and just come away with a win against the Giants?
I did. Just the way our team was built, we felt, like you said, we did have the talent on both sides of the ball. So yeah, we felt like we can get it done. And obviously we were playing horrible in the first half. Actually we started great the first, let's say, 3 drives. I mean, we did pretty well and just went to a shell after that. And
Wait, what's going on? Oh, wait.
By a lot of good leaders on that team, and we came out and performed like we're supposed to. So, and unfortunate part, the whole thing when it comes down to it, when it comes to the playoffs, it depends who's the healthiest.
Yeah, my bad if the reception was off. I guess you said something about the reception.
Oh yeah. But I was just saying at the end of the day, yes, we did think we was gonna come back and win. All they got to do is just execute and make sure that we take care of our responsibility, offense take care of theirs, and we can make it happen. And once that started coming around, we did our job on defense, giving them the ball within 3 and outs or whatever, give them opportunities. You got dynamic players like Jeff Garcia and T.O., Garrison Hurst and others. We give them a shot. A lot of times we can make things happen, and that's what happened in that particular game.
Okay, so in all perspectively, like as a teammate, what was it like being around TL? Like, were you one of those guys that was close to TL behind the scenes, or was he kind of like had his own type of people around him?
I was in between. I had no problems with T.O. If I would say all the bad rap that T.O. got was unnecessary. But at the same time, I know T.O. can, as sometimes T.O. don't want to being played with, and he'll play around with you. So now it makes it look like he's the bad guy. And so, you just got to know what T.O. day it is, so to speak. If T.O. feeling all right, then it's going to be a good day. If T.O. is kind of off a little bit, you don't want to mess around with T.O. that day. That's all. So
yeah, depends on which one you get. Sometimes people get the wrong one, and they assume it's automatically him.
Some people are like that, you know what I mean? And but me personally, never had a problem with him. I loved him as a teammate. I wish we had 10 more of him as a teammate. Far as when it comes down there in that game time, when it's come to work, this man come to work. I mean, hell, see the snow. I've seen this man barely walking and give it his all, blocking downfield. Like, what receiver still blocks downfield? You can see that in today's game. Nobody. You'll see T.O. go over there and handle about 3-4 guys. He ain't getting the ball, though, but he helping out or other situations for the team. You can't do no respect somebody like that. So
Yeah, there aren't many of those kind of receivers like that. I mean, T.O. just crafted a lot more as a blocker too, but he was the kind of guy that just sometimes when he felt like he needed to get the ball, he would do his job too, but I wouldn't blame him. Like, if you're not getting your targets and you're open, would you kind of get upset at Jeff Garcia and guys like McNabb? Of course.
But see, but I think it's bigger than that, because I'm out of the game now and looking at some of the situations in today's game, how they play and how they call the game plans. It's almost like a setup. Like, why are you not going to your targets now? You're trying to do this other game plan. It's not working. Get it to your guys that you know is going to, produce. Like, okay, to me, even though T.O. was like he had one of the most catches in NFL history in one game. T.O. was not the shortest hand receiver. I'm gonna tell you that out of all the receivers I had. But I'll tell you one thing: if he get that ball and he get a chance to get 1, 2, 3 steps, there ain't too many people I want having the ball besides T.O. So get this man the ball, let him get a chance to run, and just like you saw in the playoff game. I mean, the man got hit at the 5-yard catch. I mean, 2 people hit him very hard. Bounce off of them. He takes 80. There's not too many receivers going to do that.
Yeah, it's true in today's football. Like, there's not many receivers like that. But okay, so as far as your days with the 49ers, I know that there was a time where you were franchised like maybe once or twice, but what made you have that dispute contract? Was it like, can you explain?
Okay, so for that time, so before that, when I was having an MVP year. I want to say it was 2002, I believe. I was having an MVP year. They was actually mentioned me for MVP, defensive MVP. I want to say my 4th year or something like that. I was having a great year. By week 7, I had like 7 sacks, a pick or so, a couple forced fumbles, second on the team in tackles. I was having a great year, and all of a sudden at that time, rest in peace to Terry Donahue. He had told the reporters like, "Hey, let's not mention about MVP, nothing. We got to try to re-sign this guy." And then after that, they stopped blitzing me. They stopped, letting me produce, and doing what got me into talking about MVP level. Now you just put me on. He's still gonna make a couple plays, but we don't want to show he's one of the most special guys out there that you got to give him his money. I didn't like that. I didn't like that part. I didn't like how you changed the whole game plan to me. I didn't like that.
You didn't like the fact that that's what happened, and plus your value was going up. So you were playing at a highest level, and you were considered defensive player of the year. And then I guess the GM was like saying, no, let's lower his value or something like that. They were trying to cheap you on the deal. That's kind of like, I guess it's petty in some way, but it's business in some ways. But okay, so who was your favorite rival? Like, what? Oh, my bad.
No, I'm just saying, I get it. It's business in some ways, but at the same time, can't get mad at the player either when, oh, you want to do that to me, so now I'm supposed to take less money because you did that to me. You know what I'm worth. No, I'm not.
You worked hard for it.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have like a favorite rival that you enjoy playing against throughout your career?
Ooh. Okay. So when I was with the 49ers, at the time, the Rams was the greatest show on turf. I always loved playing that game. For the simple fact, that was my first game ever being nervous playing in a football game. Was my rookie year playing in St. Louis because they had just won the Super Bowl. It was the greatest show on turf. I mean, matched up with Marshall Faulk, who was still playing at an MVP level. And I know I'm going to have him a couple of routes one-on-one, and I can get exposed. So I was a little bit nervous that particular rookie year for that particular game. But yeah, I enjoyed that rivalry. I would say that was my biggest one. And anytime I played the Redskins, I was mad because I wanted to get drafted by them. That was my hometown. So anytime I felt like they passed up on me, I got to beat your butt for passing up on your hometown guy. So
Yeah, that's kind of like how Brady feels in some ways because the Niners
yeah,
kept passing on him. So I guess that's the same way you felt about the Redskins. Now they're Washington football, but
yeah,
it kind
right.
of drives you. It gives you that driving energy a little bit. So in some ways, let's see another question that comes to mind. Like, I mean, I've seen what you've done over the years. Like, you were like one of those most underrated player that nobody ever like talks about as much in today's football. Like in today's football, you would have to stop some mobile quarterbacks, and they got guys like you, but there's not that many guys. What was it like to play against the likes of Michael Vick? Like he was something.
Well, well, you knew they were dynamic. You knew what they brought to the table. But one thing you did know for somebody like myself who chased guys with that type of ability, you have to make sure you take the right angle, and you have to know what your abilities are too. Which I knew is I can run pretty much with majority of them. They might give me by a step or two, but I can run with you. I knew my length was long enough to get another 2 yards on you. So that cut down a couple of little space right there, and I make sure I take the right angle, and I can get athletes like that. But at the same time, when you're dealing with this type of level, you're gonna get somebody gonna get you, you're gonna get them. So man, that's just part of the game with it. But for during my era though, what I see now, where I didn't get a lot of mentions from, there's always 2 type of linebackers. You either got can you hear me? You got today's game.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Who pretty much are, which I was a hybrid then. The tweeners is you got a DN linebacker, DN edge guy. So they are stand up pretty much DN or rusher. Now, when you put them on let's say Travis Kelce, they're not used to covering space because all they know is rushing the passer. They can't cover in space with those guys. Where when I had to come out, I had to learn how to do everything. You had to rush the passer. Oh, guess what? You got to check the best tight end. You got to go check Gonzalez. You got to go check Shockey. You got to go check Heap, Todd Heap at the time. They extended all these guys out in the in the slots and all that. Oh, matter of fact, we're gonna put you in the slot sometimes with some of these guys too, as far as the Marshall Falks and the Brian Westbrooks. Yeah, I had to do it all. And so when I didn't get those, like say, sacks that some guys got, and they have all these 15-some sacks, I'm like, look, man, you got to realize what I'm doing too. I'm doing I was pretty much the Dion of linebackers, Deion Sanders of linebackers. What linebacker you gonna put on a tight end? Oh, me. You know what I mean? You're not gonna brush me no more. You're gonna put me on the tight end. So that's just the way it was.
Yeah,
Which
a
is
lot of
fine.
your
To
position.
me, it was all about winning games. The disappointment problem I had with it was most people didn't recognize it unless you was a real 49er fan. And you could see, like, man, this dude over here doing everything for us, and nobody even understands it. So shout out to the people who understand.
Well, in the early times when you were playing, there wasn't really much hybrid linebackers. Like, you can't hear? All right, let me be right back. Is it better now?
Okay, here we go. Yep.
Okay. All right. So at the time when you were playing, there wasn't really many of those hybrid linebackers except just you in general. And then there was just like not that many. But in today's football, you have the likes of guys like Fred Warner, who happens to be a little bit of a hybrid linebacker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you were technically the Fred Warner before there was even a Fred Warner, but at a high level.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I don't know if they put Fred Warner at corner or safety in sometimes too. I had to do that sometimes too. So but I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed all my time of playing. I enjoyed all my teammates. I enjoyed them allowing me the opportunity to kind of showcase what I can do on the field. Only thing I'm mad at at the time was when the year I tore my Achilles, Dennis Erickson was the coach at that time. I showed him some film when I played tight end in college. And I was like, look, man, I can run these routes. So I ran them and stuff at training camp and all this stuff a couple of times. And he was like, hey, man, you actually are pretty good at this. It's like, give me a couple of plays. Because this one, variable, and I think one Sapp caught a touchdown. Like all these other dudes was catching these touchdowns that was, defensive linebackers or tackles. I'm like, coach, I do all that and more. And before he got a chance to, show what I can do, I tore my Achilles that year. So.
Man, that was kind of unfortunate. But who was your favorite QB growing up? I guess there's another question here.
Steve Young was actually one of my favorites, to be honest. I love the fact that, first of all, he was coming, you backing up and you stepping in for arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, especially at that time. He was definitely number one, I would say, Joe Montana. And now you're taking over the wheels from him. And your style is not his style. Steve uses legs sometimes too. And I love that about him. But he wasn't always running. He just knew when to run and when not to run. And that's the part I loved about Steve Young.
Oh, yeah. So that was the same way with me growing up also. Steven was just a player that came to mind. And he was just one of those guys that could really do – he got better as a pocket passer, but he was really good as a scrambler too. So it's like – okay, let's see if there's more. But okay, after the conclusion of you leaving the 49ers, what made you really kind of like think about going to Seattle at first?
Well, I wasn't trying to go to Seattle at that time. I was trying to get somewhere close to the East Coast, where my family was, to be honest. But when it came down to it, you go to a visit, you go places. What they don't tell you is, like, say if a player who's a free agent go visit, say I go visit Carolina somewhere, and I don't want to go to Carolina. I want to still see what my options are. And they give me a nice contract. Once I leave Carolina, that contract is not, I can't call them back. It's like, all right, let me go ahead and pick up that contract. I just wanted to see what else was out there. They're going to the next. The money's gone. Now your limits of money is getting smaller and smaller because they're going to keep on signing people every day. So once I went to Seattle and they said the kind of numbers I was wanted to have, looking for, there it is. I signed with them.
Okay, so what was it like playing the Niners twice a year after you left? Like was it kind of strange just to play against your old team in some ways?
No, I loved it actually. I loved it. I loved because at the time when I was coming, as we got better after we took over the Rams type of run, we had won a couple at the time. Well, when I played with the 49ers, we had won a championship and I think won another one, I think, after that. But you saw Seattle getting better. And then Seattle had their run. So it was like going back, it was like, so now I'm back in this division. Actually, my cousin got drafted by you guys, Thomas Clayton. He was a 6th-round pick for you guys. And I used to call him all the time. I was like, I'm going to tear y'all up when I see y'all on Sunday. Just let them know, like, they should have re-signed me. They kept playing around, not trying to get me. I ain't want to go nowhere. But, it is what it is. It's in all fairness. And later on, I mean, I resolved all issues with, pretty much with all my guys. Even the owner. The owner was like, that was one of the worst things I didn't do is give you your money. He said, you weren't even trying to break the bank. I said, I know. I was just trying to get my share at the time. That's all. And he said, that's one of my worst mistakes. So, I mean, it is what it is. I still come to the 49er games. I still come there. I still root for them. So.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like, what's your thoughts of Kyle Shanahan as a head coach so far?
I love him. First of all, being a Washington football team fan, all the coaches who are doing great were all on my staff, and we didn't sign that one of them. Kyle Shanahan, LaFleur, McVay. We had all on our staff, and we just ain't keep none of them. But I love Shanahan. Great mind. What I love about him the most, I love that, like most coaches, it's either my way or the highway. Like, this is how my stuff gonna be run. This and that. They don't really use what their talent or what they drafted or what kind of players they have. It seems like he knows how to use whatever I have in my toolkit. This is how I'm gonna use it, and this is how I'm gonna play it off this and this and that. You love it, and that's why the offense moves as good as they do. And his players love him. So nothing but love for Shanahan.
Yeah, like I mean, some people are getting criticism with him, but I think it's just a lot to do with the injuries and a lot of whatever goes on. I mean, he always been innovative, but then
Right.
it comes down to it like it's like it happens. But what's your thoughts of Trey Lance? Like, you like the way he drafted this kid, or you think he could have gone to another quarterback?
No, that's all that is fine. I like Trey Lance. I understand why they drafted him, just because when Gawal and Jimmy is playing, they're doing wonderful. But when Jimmy get hurt, they always, kind of stumble and fall a little bit. So I understand why they needed another quality guy who can, just in case he gets hurt and something happens. But the funny thing about the game of football is injuries happen. You can't stop that. You can't stop injuries. I don't care how good your roster look. If injuries happen, it just happens. I mean, I've been on teams like that with the 49ers, but everybody get hurt. You know what I mean? Everybody. You had a guess, matter of fact, who I played with, Jamie Winborn. We actually never played a full season together, ever. Probably maybe his rookie year. But I was playing with a high ankle sprain the whole year. I played with a high ankle sprain the whole year. But after that, when I was healthy, we played healthy together, and then he'll get hurt. Or I was playing healthy and he'll get hurt, and vice versa. So that's what happens when you try to get your team together. Sometimes it doesn't fold up like it's supposed to, because injuries, it's going to happen in football. Football all comes down to who's the healthiest. That's really what it comes down to.
Comes down to who's healthier or the next man up mentality. But I guess there's another interesting question. What were some of your favorite stadiums to play in before? Good hear. I'll get back, man. Hold on. All right. So, what was your favorite stadium that you enjoy playing? Like right here.
Say again. I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
What were some of the favorite stadiums to play in that you like?
Favorite stadiums?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. The original Black Hole. Let's see. I like the Tampa Bay's. I like the Cannon thing. I did like that. I like Baltimore's stadium. It got like a castle-like thing. It's kind of dope. I like how that is. I haven't been to the more modern ones, but the ones as far as the best one I probably ever been to was the Dallas one. I haven't been to the newer ones like the new Mercedes ones or all these new ones, but Dallas one by far was probably the best one. I probably played that.
Yeah. So so what was it like playing for the Detroit Lions, like you said?
Oh man. That's when I felt like I died around that time. I got traded there after they went 0-16. So after the year they go 0-16, we drafted Matthew Stafford, #1. At that time, I am 30 years old. I don't have time to rebuild at 30 years old. So I'm like, why am I here? Why do you even trade for me? Why? To say you have a name on your team? I didn't get that. I didn't want to do it. But, you got to do what you got to do. So.
Yeah, it's business. But who was the hardest to tackle for you in your career?
Hardest to tackle. Wow. Hardest to tackle. Far as running backs, or what are we talking about?
Any like running backs or any players that you had a hard time tackling?
Marshall Faulk, when he, like I said, during his heyday, Marshall Faulk was hard because he was so shifty. He knew how to change the pace and do all that. I saw it kind of happening before I left San Fran, and then when I got to Seattle, I saw it for 2 games. Frank Gore, a little dude, boy, that little dude can run that he can run that rock. Charlie Gardner was a tough one. The Bus was a hard dude because he was a big guy. A-Train, all-star for Tampa Bay. He had big pads and big legs. He was hard to bring down too. I would say those are like more of the main ones.
Okay, more of the main ones that you had a hard time tackling, or the ones that just seemed more of a tough one. But all right, so who was the best tight end Julian lined up against? I mean, it would seem obvious.
What do you think?
Tony Gonzalez.
I don't think so, though. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't think he was a. So at that time, Tony was older than me at that time too. So I wasn't worried about Tony running past me. All I knew is Tony gonna try to body me up like a basketball player. I knew how to play that all day. Because like I said, I played tight end, so I know how to use my body to. And I knew he wasn't fast than me, so I wasn't really worried about Tony. I just made sure I was disciplined with him. The one that gave me the fist when he was healthy was Shockey. That's not his first game yet. I played my first game. They didn't know how to use him then. But I promise you, later on, they know how to spread him out and know how to, because he can run. The man can run, and he was he played with a defensive attitude when he got the ball. When most offensive guys don't have that attitude. So I would say he was probably more the roughest one for me.
Yeah, when he was a rookie, he was definitely like really good, and everybody was talking about how he could have easily been really good. But he was on a roll with the Giants, and he was like the one guy besides those other players, besides Amari Toomer, they had Shockey coming into his own. Yeah. And this guy was tough to stop. I would have thought, man, this guy's something.
Mm-hmm. Well,
he was cocky too.
Injuries happen, though. You know what I'm saying? That's what happens. Who stay healthy? After that, I think he got injured. Then he went with the Saints, got injured, and he never was the same. So it happens. It happens.
Yeah,
just imagine if Bo Jackson never get hurt. I think Bo Jackson is clearly probably the best running back that probably ever would have played the game, to me personally. But we never would know that. We just got to say, man, if he would have stayed healthy. So.
Yeah, it's all about staying healthy. Like, that's just what goes on with all these injuries. Like Gale Sayers didn't have much of a long career, but could have been something good too.
Absolutely. And he's still considered one of the best. So, yeah.
If Barry didn't retire too soon, I think he would already surpass Emmitt Smith easily. But
Emmitt Smith probably been still playing today. But yeah, or if he had that offensive line, just imagine he'd had that offensive line that Emmitt Smith had. Wow.
Yeah. Speaking of Emmitt Smith, what was it like playing against him?
I loved it. Because I like saying before, I came as a Washington football team fan. So anything when it came to them, I was ready to, make sure that I let it be known that I don't like you guys, and I want to stop that old Dallas Cowboy, we the best America's team thing. I couldn't stand them, as I call them, the Cowgirls. No disrespect to no Cowboy fans, but I call them Cowgirls. I'm sorry, but. I love the rivalry because, the 49ers and, 49ers and Dallas always had great rivalries. It was always going to, competing for Super Bowls, the NFC championships. So, it was wonderful. And being in the game, that was my rookie year with T.O. doing the star. When he did the thing with the star and all that. That was my rookie year. And I know I caught a pick against Troy Aikman, which I was happy about. It was like my second pick. I actually scored in that game, but they tried to say that the dude touched. And that was a wonderful game too. That was a great moment.
Yeah, I mean, I even in my intro, you see Teal doing this. Oh, you can't hear again?
Can't hear.
All right, let me bring it back. I don't know what's going on with the reception, I guess.
Okay.
All right, so speaking of the rivalry, like I remember the time where Teal did that taunt, and I guess that one safety tried to hit him from behind, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
What was your reaction of that when you saw that happen?
Well, I loved it because I actually seen what happened the play before. Teal had, so Charlie Gardner had a wonderful game that game. Charlie Gardner, I think he ran for like 205 that game. So Charlie ran for like 205. And the play before that, T.O. had blocked him and ran him in the ground. Like I said, T.O. always blocked now. And he grabbed the safety and did him like, what, let's say old Pace do with pancakes. How T.O. did T that way, that particular time. And then when he came back, he said, then I'm going to score on you the very next play and go to the star. And sure enough, that's what happened. So
yeah. So like, yeah, it was kind of insane how that went down. But then eventually Teal ended up playing with the star at that point of his career. So it was like kind of crazy how it ended up that way. But So speaking of how I was saying about Emmitt Smith, what was it like playing against Sean Alexander?
Well, I always didn't. I love being a teammate of his and all that. Love playing with him. Great guy and everything. Playing against him, I always didn't like Sean. I never liked the way he ran. I hated him because anytime I really wanted to see him in the hole, he used to duck down and dive in the hole. Like, you know what I mean? He ain't want that contact. I hated running backs who ain't want that contact. So I couldn't stand him. But wonderful guy, like I said. But yeah, I couldn't stand him. Because he had a great offensive line. He had Hutchinson, Walter Jones. They cleared out big holes. And they made it like he was just this great running back. I'm like, man, but you ran behind these two big guys. You would look great too. So,
Hey,
but
just like Emmitt Smith, he's looking good with all that great line too.
Yeah, I mean, come on now, you look great too. So, no, but I think he was a great player. Shout out to Sean. He won MVP 1 year. So,
yeah. So, which quarterback did you enjoy sacking the most?
Oh. Which one I enjoy sacking the most? Brett Favre. Peyton Manning. Aaron Rodgers. Who I enjoy sacking the most? I used to talk too much. I'm trying to think of those guys. Yeah, I'll say that's about it. That's about it.
Well, the one that usually talks a little bit nowadays, it's either Tom Brady, but most people didn't enjoy much of it.
No. See, Tom. One thing I hate about Tom, and Tom came out with me. He got drafted in my class. I played against him at Michigan and Michigan State. I had those type rivals. Tom get that ball away just enough time where I can't touch his butt. So that's why I used to hate him. I couldn't stand him for that. But I have won games against him. The only quarterback I've never won a game against. This is crazy. I've never won a game ever. Preseason, college. Drew Brees. I've never beat this guy. Ever. Like, ever. I have never beat this guy. I've beaten Tom before. I done beat name all the greatest quarterbacks. I'm probably beat them. But I have never beat that guy, ever.
Even when he was with the Chargers?
Yeah, never. That's what I'm saying. Never, 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 never. When he was at Purdue, I was at Michigan State. We were better than them. We still lost. So I've never beat this guy.
Yeah,
I
he was
want.
good.
Yeah, he was. He was. I want to see him on the basketball court. At least I can give me a W or something on that one.
Okay, so what defensive player in today's game that does kind of have a comparison to you in today's football?
Oh, gosh, he's gonna say that. So I gotta have some hybrids. So I got to put people together. Like Von Miller compared with, shoot, I'm trying to think who can cover. I don't know too many covering linebackers like that anymore. So
Fred Warner could.
yeah, I give me that. So a little bit with that. People, it's not too many people who can really put their hands in the dirt and cover. So I don't know. It's kind of hard.
Because you were like a rare breed because not many of them were out there.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard to make a difference.
All linebackers now, either they're rushers or he play middle linebacker or something like that. I mean, there's no real like outside for real.
Yeah, like I guess from what my boy Raymond was saying, I know it's tough because you were one of the rare ones, so it's kind of hard to make a comparison. But in today's football, they're starting to have a little bit of those Julian Petersons out there, just not the big ones.
Yeah, and they straight DNs. That's what I'm saying. So that's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, everything kind of sounds funny. Everybody's kind of like asking a question, like all of these it's kind of getting intriguing. Like a lot of them just like that you're still around. They just haven't heard from you in years. But I guess the last time was not good with the Lions, so you just said, whatever.
Yeah. Nah, I shut down everything once I left the Lions. I shut down everything. I didn't even talk to the reporters after that. They asked me, "Why are you just leaving abruptly?" And I'm done. I'm washing my hands. I don't even want to be associated right now. So. Yeah.
Okay, man. So let's see, man. Everybody else. So before we get into the final conclusion, what was your most favorite coach? Was it Mariucci or was it Holmgren or who?
Man, between them two, if I can mix them together, it was them two. I had a great time with Mariucci. I was very heartbroken when we let him go. I thought that was one of our downfalls, actually, when we let our head guy go. To me, we lost to Tampa Bay that particular year, who actually won the Super Bowl, and we were injured in that game. Like we had a lot of people injured that game too. So I thought if we just kept everybody around for one more real run, we could have did something. But who am I?
Yeah, so who are you? So, all right. So, besides all that, like I noticed that how you've established to be one of those most underrated players that nobody ever talks about, but I still think in the Niners community and the Niners heart, we always remember you as that one guy that we drafted and became one of the best at that position before it became a thing. Because in today's football, there's not that many linebackers who have done it like you before, but you were the one that kind of set the standard and you were paving the way for those other linebackers. So it's kind of like, man, if we can get those Julian Peterson in today's football, those will make a difference.
Appreciate that. Well, I'd say this. I got 4 of them on my own right now. I breed it pretty much. So I got one that's turning 16 tomorrow. I got a 14-year-old. I got a 9 and 8. So we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, hopefully one of them plays for the Niners, and maybe he'll help the problem right there.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So if anybody else has the last questions, we're about to end the stream in a little bit. But yeah, dude, like I just remember as a kid, like thinking, who would have thought in so many years I would interview Julian Peterson? Man, this guy was one of my one of my top 5 favorite guys out there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I sure try to make my fans and the 49er community show that I'm giving them my all, and I enjoy doing it and performing and letting you have something to talk about. So that was my thing.
All right, there was one. There was like two or three more questions before we come. What do you think led to Mariucci firing?
Great question. I have no idea. It's bigger than what my pay grade was. I think personally, I think everybody loved Mariucci, and I think that had a little bit something to do with it. He was so likable, and he went against some of their grain sometimes, so maybe that was the reason. But I don't know, or maybe they didn't like his offense. It wasn't more explosive enough. I think that was one of the reasons too. They felt like it wasn't vertical enough. His offense, it was too much running, too much dinking and dunking. They wanted the new era where the Rams was doing like the deep overs and real big long touchdown passes. So I don't know. That's my
Okay. So, what was one play that you regret making? Like, I guess from what Gavin was asking.
one play I regret making.
Yeah.
One play I regret, like I didn't even want to do it at all, type of thing.
Yeah.
Wow. Nothing.
There's your answer, Gavin. Nothing. He just played the game and never regretted a tackle. Okay. What's your thoughts of D'Amico Ryans as DC?
Say it one more time. I'm sorry. Oh, what I
What?
think D'Amico Ryans as DC. I think that's a
Yeah.
good look. It's like he's doing pretty well. Just unfortunate some of his guys that you depend on get hurt. Like I said, the name of the game is who stay healthy. Pretty sure he can keep all the guys healthy. You'll see a lot better display of defense, but you got to plug in the guys when you can. So I like it though. I like him as a DC. I think he's doing a good job.
I think it takes time, and I think he'll get there in time. But I guess there was one guy who just happened to buy your jersey before you went to Seattle, and I guess he was like saying, "Why'd you leave?"
Oh man, I wasn't trying to, man. I'm sorry, man. I really wasn't. And when I got to Seattle, I couldn't even get my number till my last year there. The year before, somebody had my number, Grant Wistrom, who I respect. He was a year older than me, so and he always wore 98. I know he had it in college, and I know he had it in the NFL. So I wasn't going to fight him for the number. So I decided I'm gonna go with 59 at Seattle. So I have a great year there. I'm trying to go back to 98, and they say my ticket sales too much for the jersey, and now I had to stay in the number I didn't want to be in, 59. So I understand you. I'm saying you understand your problem, my man. I'm sorry.
All right, so here's this interesting question. Does Seattle smell bad? My family that lives up there says it does.
No, it does not. It's great. It's just not as sunny as California is.
Also, it's not as sunny as California, but I have one fellow Seattle fan who happened to meet you before a long time ago. He goes by the name of Sam Dog, infamous 253. He wanted to say what's up to you.
Oh, okay, man. Tell him what's up, man. I had great years out there too in Seattle. Thank you.
Yeah, he said he met you at the tunnel like a while back.
Oh, okay, cool. I had more
Yeah, I
hair,
guess a lot.
more hair than at that time. I had some more hair than at that time.
Oh, that's all good, bro. But in all seriously, man, as soon as I get that picture delivered right here, I'll ship it in and get that signed, bro. It's an honor, bro.
Yeah, no problem, man. Enjoyed the interview. Appreciate having the time out here, and maybe I catch you another time. Maybe I get on there with some Wimborne, and you said didn't you already do an interview?
Yeah, interview Mike Rump.
Mike Rump, like all those guys, we all used to hang together. Actually, we can
Yeah,
tell you
Derek Smith.
from us just after the football and stuff, man. We hung. That's one thing I say. I had one of my best franchises was San Francisco, because of the team unity we had on our team. Everybody actually hanged around each other, no matter what. You was married, you was single, black, white. Everybody hung around each other, and I had a great time with those guys. So, yeah, if you can get us all on there, I'll be glad to do that one too. Mike Rump, Dirk, Wimborne, all of them. Keith Lewis, all of them. I had a great time.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll do a Niners Legends roundtable where it gets you guys to talk about the old times, and you guys could talk about it like in some ways you guys used to do. Like, I guess the way Keith Lewis told me that he doesn't regret playing football no more because he said the game's got soft and he doesn't even want to play it no more.
Oh yeah, well, Keith used to come down and he was a safety who rocked heads, so I know he is mad. He can't do what he used to do anymore because the game has got softer. Um, and I understand why they say, as far as the sparing and the concussions, which is all true. But to me, as a deep as a guy and playing football myself, and you get what you sign up for. You know what you sign up for. If you're a police officer, guess what? You know you're gonna serve and protect, but you know you're gonna be in some hostile situation where you might possibly not be around. Same thing you're gonna get. Like today, my finger's still messed up and all. I ain't gonna never get this fixed. But I ain't never gonna stop doing what I was doing. I had a great time doing it and I gotta live with that, So
Yeah, man. So definitely we'll keep you in contact and let you know if Winborn and the rest of the guys are up for it because I think Keith Lewis says he's open for it. And I think Jamie Winborn says absolutely. It depends on Mike Rubb because he's like coaching at Miami, I believe, and I got him at a good timing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's coaching. Yep.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Like he told me a lot of good stories, and he was even talking about a lot of other guys. And I guess we got one Seattle fan who happens to remember you.
Okay. What's up?
Yeah, man. So yeah, dude. So I will update you on the Niners Legend Roundtable. I'll definitely make it a possibility. I'm pretty sure Keith Lewis is open because I got him in contact, and I got Derek Smith in contact, and definitely you also. So and then I'll give you the update as soon as I get the picture in, bro, because I gotta get that as a collection, bro. Because the legend Julian Peterson, man, come on.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, man. So anybody else, man, we're gonna end the stream. I appreciate the great Julian Peterson, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, man. Have a good one, bro. And as always, go Niners.
All right now. Go Niners.